Hi, my name is Jeff with the INTJ equation, and today I'm going to talk about Fe Extraverted Feeling. You can watch the last video I did, Introverted Feeling, on the link above. But before we get to the content, I want to remind you to like, share, subscribe if you haven't yet. Sharing and liking this would definitely help a lot. Also, feel free to leave a comment below, send me an email, intjequation@gmail.com, or join us in our Discord server. Everything's down below in the links. So what is extroverted feeling? Fe. It's something that INTJs lack, which I'll talk about Fe Trickster later in this video, so stay tuned for that. It's a shadow function of ours. Extroverted feeling is about making other people feel good. I guess even making other people feel bad, and if it's a very unhealthy version of Fe. It's about picking up the emotions mostly on Fi users. Like they can definitely are really sensitive to people. Like I'll be walking around and I'm kind of in a neutral mood. Then high Fe user like an ESFJ or maybe an ENFJ will ask how I'm doing just because I kind of look mad, I guess, with my INTJ death stare, resting bitch face, whatever you want to call it. They assume or feel that I'm mad. Then I start getting irritated when they try to cheer me up. One of the most annoying things you could say to an INTJ is smile more. So, I mean, I don't mean to say that Fe is a really bad thing. I think it's good in a lot of ways. It gives a lot of people a sense of community, a sense of caring, and there's a lot of good points to it, but it's just, I think it's something that I definitely don't understand because of my own developmental issues and stuff that happened to me in the past. It's often seen as selflessness, but I think that's incorrect in a lot of ways because the Fi down in the Fe user shadow, they try to make other people feel good because it makes them feel good to make other people feel good. So it's kind of self-serving in a way. A lot of people with Fe, they feel bad if they can't make somebody feel good. It's kind of like their job. But it does work for most people, and I guess even maybe a lot of INTJs, like we can really appreciate like an ESFJ kind of being really loyal and helping us and kind of helping us reach our goals since they're known as a supporter. So that's definitely a good thing. It's just I think you have to kind of handle an INTJ in a little different manner, a little bit more subtly. So what are some good things about Fe? Well, I think there's a lot of good things. Like I said, they try to make people feel good. They go out of their way to make everybody feel welcome and accommodated. They are very helpful. They like to help other people reach their goals. They will kind of do the dirty work in a lot of cases for other people so they can feel good or take care of the things that they need to do. ESFJ is known as a supporter. They kind of don't know what they want because they have Fe Trickster, so they go around helping other people, and that's what makes them feel good. But, there's definitely some limitations on that, which I'll discuss later in the video. Yeah, they give everybody a sense of community, a sense of bond. They're really good with children, especially. Kind of like you watch Oprah, the Oprah Winfrey Show, or I don't think it's on the air anymore. I can't even remember. But she's an ENFJ, and, a lot of people think that's just her faking it. But I really think that's just how she is. And, she goes and just brings all the people there and just makes them all feel good and gives them what they want and all sorts of stuff like that. So it's very good and accommodating. But of course, there are some bad points, which I'll get to here in a second. Fe users, especially high Fe users like Fe heroes like ESFJs, ENFJs, they're very outgoing and friendly. They go out of their way to make everybody feel warm and welcome, which is great. And it's very social and very extroverted. Probably the most extroverted of all the functions is Fe as well. So it's very gregarious and outgoing and warm. So what are some of the bad things about Fe? I think these points can trigger an INTJ in particular, mostly because we have the Fe Trickster, like I said, and we just don't kind of understand these sort of things. Like I said, they really try to make everybody feel good. So like somebody like an ESFJ, I know I had one ESFJ lady at work who was coming up to me and trying to make me smile more and be more outgoing, and that just really, really irritates INTJs especially. I think you just kind of need to give us our space and our independence and kind of see that we're not these warm, bubbly people on the outside, and you kind of let us come to our own terms and conclusions with you and able to build trust instead of trying to force it out and like you're pulling someone's teeth in a way. They are very accommodating, like I said, and they feel bad if they don't kind of live up to other people's expectations, or they feel like they're not a good person with their Fi in their shadow, so they can also be a doormat. They can kind of go out and pretty much work themselves to the bones, and they can be easily taken advantage of. So this is definitely something you have to watch out if you're a high Fe user. and don't manipulate a high Fe user in this way. I don't think it's very nice. They can also be enabling in a lot of ways. I know they just kind of give other people what they want, especially with their NE for ESFJs, and they want to make other people feel good, but those things always aren't good. Like I know when I was growing up, I had an ESFJ grandma, and she always kind of overfed me, and her whole philosophy with my ESTP grandpa, like, well, he's a growing boy, he needs to eat, and my parents, they were kind of neglective and didn't feed me a lot when I was younger. So when I did find food, that kind of just fed my SI demon and gave me some really poor eating habits. But my ESFJ grandma and my ESTP grandpa, who had FE child, were like, okay, just eat this food and make you feel good. And, it was just like a poor coping mechanism, and it's very enabling. Like my ESFJ stepmom, she kind of enables my ESFP stepdad in a lot of ways with his habits and stuff, but she's there doing it right along with them as well. So it can be very enabling. It can be make someone like an FE user like a doormat. They can get walked all over, so they definitely have to learn to set boundaries for themselves as well. Now I'll go ahead and dig into Fe Trickster, which is the 7th function for INTJs. If you look at the 8-function model, John Beebe in particular called it the Trickster function. So everybody has a Trickster function. It's the second to last function in his model. Like I said, Fe Trickster is all about not being able to pick up on the emotions of others. This is why we're kind of seen as cold and uncaring. We're very deeply sensitive. If you watch the FI video, I explain that a little bit. We just don't really emote it very well because we just don't have FE in us, really. It's kind of, it plays tricks on you. It's also about like social norms, so we might not understand something socially. Like somebody will just start talking in group and they just start talking about something that just makes no sense to me, but it's something that everybody does. So, and it's just kind of very frustrating and kind of, where you're just kind of oblivious and you don't know what's going on. Or you might just be talking to somebody and somebody is just trying to get you to smile more or be open with you, but you kind of just don't pick that up. Again, that could be for me because I'm a very unhealthy INTJ with my upbringing. I have avoidant personality disorder. You can definitely check out my other videos to kind of find out more about me and my upbringing. But I'm just trying to explain Fe Trickster. I think mine was kind of severely underdeveloped in a lot of ways, or developed, I guess, which way you want to look at it. We don't really follow social norms, like talking to somebody on my Discord server, which is another struggle that I have. Like when somebody's on Discord, I don't know if they're kidding or what their intention is, or being trolling. So it's always kind of walking on a thin line for me when I'm trying to moderate that. It can be definitely tricky. I've been called, autistic, sociopath, psychopath, spree shooter, serial killer, you name it, just because of, I think this is why we don't smile as much, combined with our NI, with our intensity in our eyes and our look and our lack of emotion. We kind of look very cold and uncaring. I get told that I need to work on my speaking voice in these videos, and I definitely agree. My voice is very low and monotonous. I think that's with FE. I'm not emitting a lot of emotions, like I said. It's just kind of flat. Most of the time I feel neutral, and that's the emotion that I put out. Another thing that INTJs struggle with Fe Trickster is that we try to rationalize emotions, and we're kind of a hypocrite in this way because oftentimes we get stuck in our NI-FI loop because we feel like we feel like we don't want to do something, or we're not good enough, or that sort of thing. And when other people have like an emotional problem, we don't really validate their own emotions. We kind of try to rationalize it with our TE. We try to come up with a solution-oriented way, because we prefer to use our TE rather than our FI to make a decision or solve a problem. So we kind of assume that other people don't really have this emotional response to whatever's going on. Like an INFP, I get this with them a lot. They really want to feel and process the emotions because they have such high FI, and it's kind of like, their go-to function. But we kind of see their problem like, that's an easy fix. Just fix this and you won't feel that emotion. You won't feel bad. So a lot of types don't appreciate that. I think like the thinking types are a little more adapted to that sort of approach, and they can appreciate that. But if you're dealing with a feeler, definitely take the time to use your FI and put yourself in their shoes for a minute. Then, after they process their emotions, ask if they want you to help with a solution, because INTJs are natural problem solvers, so we're definitely good for that. Well, I appreciate you watching this video on FE. This concludes all the 8 functions, so definitely go ahead and check out that playlist, which I'll link down here below. Also, we have some projects coming on, so by the time this is out, I hopefully have my podcast launched on Podbean, where you can find it on Spotify and other very accessible apps. so it's easier to get than you don't have to have the video like you would on YouTube. Once again, I will remind you, go ahead and send me a message, intj@gmail.com. Add me on social media, INTJ Equation all around. Thank you for going beyond the clickbait. Have a great day. Hi, this is Jeff with INTJ Equation, and I want to do a quick introduction video to some projects that Bob, aka Xeon, on my Discord server, we're talking about. We were originally going to do a podcast where we read my birth chart, but then we were kind of thinking maybe we should teach the basics of this before we give all this terminology. So I think it's going to be a very long project that I'm going to release in bite-sized chunks. So instead of doing the birth chart, what we did was we talked about the 12 signs individually. So I think I'm going to break those up into smaller videos so it's in digestible chunks. So we'll go ahead and get to the video. Today we're going to cover the first 3 signs in the zodiac. It's Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. And we also talk a little bit about like the fixed placements and the elements and stuff that have to do with them, like the cardinal, fixed, and unmutable signs there are. There are 3 categories of signs and 12 signs altogether. So we'll go ahead and go to the clips.